president. The kind of symbiotic relationship that should exist between the president and the deputy president is underlined in this constitution. Now, it is uncontestable, and I think this is the issue that I want to deal with in some detail. It is uncontestable from the record that you have, even from the deputy president, that the words he is accused to have uttered, where he alleges that Kenya is like a of shareholding, is a republic of citizens. So when a deputy president talks about taking the interests of watu wa Murima, for whatever that would mean, it is not in compliance with his constitutional remit. And the words are there. What he has said in public on this issue is very clear. The second issue is on the question of collective responsibility. You would find out from this constitution that in nearly all the important constitutional bodies established under the constitution, the deputy president is a member of those particular institutions. By the deputy president, when he is the second in command in the national security intelligence as established under the constitution. So I would want, and I plead with the Senate, look at the utterances of the deputy president vis-a-vis his role under the constitution. And he has even said that where he has said certain things that are deemed to be insightful, that is protected speech. It cannot be protected speech under our constitution, because under Article 3 of the constitution, because of what we have undergone as a nation, Article 33, sub-article 2, has a limitation that the expressions that extend to propaganda for war, incitement to violence, hate speech, advocacy of hatred, that cannot be protected speech. Now, the other very important point, which I want to put before the Senate, sometime in February 2017, the deputy president traveled to London, and he went to a hospital in London where his brother was admitted in ICU. When he arrived the next day, he prevailed upon his brother to execute a will. That was on the 17th of February, 2017. In that trip, there is no evidence at all that he tried to talk to doctors or physicians who are looking after his own brother. After those visits, he walked away. And 7 days later...
Mr. Speaker, I rise to raise an objection.
Can I proceed?
Mr. Speaker, we owe the deputy president very elementary decency. We owe it to the deputy president to be basically decent in these proceedings. I want to know whether counsel at the bar, one, can adduce this kind of evidence that is not contained in any evidentiary material before the Senate. I want to know which ground in the 11 grounds in the impeachment motion is this evidence from the bar supporting. I repeat, Mr. Speaker, we owe the deputy president the most basic decency. I object.
Senior Counsel Orengo, those averments are they contained?
They're contained, they're all here. They
And
are
refer to the document.
Volume 4. I am not referring because if I've got to refer to every document, will take a lot of time, and I have only 30 minutes. If you look at volume 4 of this document on public participation, from page
Volume 4 of the National Assembly.
of the National Assembly,
Pages
pages 114 to yes, and in fact, this page is also called "Tend the Will," and the Deputy President is the one who is relying on this will. The death certificate is contained on page 119. And it shows the only person who attended the deceased, the brother of the Deputy President at that time, was his daughter, was the only person present. And then there's the will, and in the documents on page 128, and this is why I was raising this matter, on page 128, there's a letter tutors, and they're complaining about the conduct and action of the Deputy President as an executor of the will and a family member of the late DP Gachagua. On page 129, paragraph 8, there, and it says, from bank statements to this, for this account seen by us, you transferred some funds from these accounts to other persons as follows. On the date, when DP Gachagua died on the 24th, the Deputy President was already withdrawing money. On the day he died, and that day when he died, he was there only with his daughter. And then they say on the 19th of May 2017, again another money was withdrawn and paid to Messrs. Oamunyuro Investment Limited. This story, you will find it in the documentation. And part of it is what Mr. Njomo was saying.
Counsel for Deputy President, just have your seat. When your time comes, you'll be able to make the rebuttals. Proceed, Senior Counsel.
How many minutes do I have?
Mr. Speaker, I respect your direction. I'm willing to take a seat right away, but just to point out something. The document you are being referred to is the document you held in abeyance because it was given to us later for purposes of our consideration. That's number one. Number two, Mr. Speaker, you remember that my learned colleague talked about how my client traveled to London, how without talking to any doctor. These are factual claims, Mr. Speaker, that are just coming from the bar. Mr. Speaker, number three, the opening statement speaks to the motion and the grounds in the motion. I beseech this House direct that parties restrict themselves to the motion and the grounds in the motion. The facts you are now being referred to have no basis in the motion and the grounds in the motion, unless Senior Counsel, His Excellency Governor Rengo, can draw your attention to any ground in the motion that those facts are not addressing. I repeat what I said, Mr. Speaker, the ruling is